All right.
We're back again.
Welcome.
Been a little longer than we probably planned.
It's
As usual.
Yeah.
It's just always that way.
It just happens.
Anyways, this is the Fill in the Blank podcast.
Life after film school.
And I'm Greg.
And I'm Austin.
And we're here with a new episode. And we're going to do... Our topic today is going to be...
Nerds.
The state of nerds.
Yep.
Basically, in entertainment. Because it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs.
It's a sad state of affairs, and I feel it may be even a civil rights issue.
Oh, it could be. You're right about that. Then you're going to have another TV review, which is what we started last episode, a new segment type.
Yes.
What? Why don't you give me that look?
No, it's just your cat is...
The cat was in here banging on your leg.
Well, not only banging on my leg, but banging on the pole, so you can hear it, like...
and then we're gonna finish with a not one of our traditional segments, but we just wanted to
talk about the Oscars a little bit.
Yeah, obviously we did our picks and we had the Oscars occur, so we had to do a little review on that.
Yeah.
So
that's what you got to look forward to today.
What you got? What's been going on with you?
Well, I went and saw a movie the other day.
Yeah.
Not at my normal movie theater.
Right.
Because I wanted to see the Grand Budapest Hotel,
which we're going to be reviewing next episode.
Correct.
Because I didn't want to hear anything about it until I got to see it.
Correct. Yes. So look forward to that next episode. But when I was at this movie theater, it was, I don't know, it was kind of a 1-2-3 punch of people that just upset me.
Okay. Well, it's a movie theater for starters that is where they play the
more
arty movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you could tell. Okay. So as I'm walking up to, my wife and I are walking up to the theater, we pass a woman who's walking the other way. Okay. Now, I enjoy a good film discussion.
Yeah.
But the sentence she said went something like this, and I'm, for the most part, quoting. She said, "Now, what I really enjoyed about that motion picture was that the relationship between our two protagonists evolved over the course of the narrative."
Oh, God.
Now,
what?
Obviously,
how old were these people?
She was younger than our parents. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah,
somewhere 40s, 50s.
Yeah, I would wager it was 40s. But okay, now I love discussing pictures.
Yeah,
and I have a good vocabulary, and I enjoy, using it when necessary.
Yes.
But something about that just smacked pretentious to me.
Yeah.
It was just like, I had professors who did not discuss movies that way. Steven Spielberg doesn't discuss movies that way.
True.
It was, and the word evolves didn't bother me, but the fact that she called it a motion picture.
And
our protagonists.
Yeah.
And over the course of the narrative.
Well, just use the character's name.
Right.
Like our protagonist. What was the character's name?
Right. And it didn't help that she was, very like, oh, well, you see, like she sounded, and I don't know. So, but I was just like, it was funny to me. I wasn't about to go smack her in the face or anything. It was just, oh, okay, that's who you are. And I continue going on. Either way, I go get in line to buy a ticket for the movie.
As usual, Phantom Goat. It always happens.
I know. So I go and get in line to buy a ticket for the movie, and at the front of the line, the lady, I don't know what the gentleman at the window said to her.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I do know because of the way she reacted. But she was just like, I just had this conversation with somebody else. And everybody in line goes, uh-oh.
The lady who works there says this?
No. This is a lady buying the ticket.
Oh.
There's a young guy, probably works he probably goes to college because it's right by...
UCI.
Yeah. So he probably goes to school there, and he's working there on the weekends. And she says, I've just had this conversation with somebody else. You need to drop the just from that. I'm not just buying one ticket. I'm buying one ticket. You need to drop the just.
Oh,
because
God.
it makes people feel inferior.
Makes you feel inferior.
Right.
Nobody else cares.
And I'm like, she's like, it makes people sound alone. And I was like, you are alone.
And all those things, like the inferiority thing is your sole problem.
Completely.
You are in fact alone, though.
And if you don't think you are, then we have a much bigger problem to be discussing here.
Yes. Oh man, yeah.
So we were just like, oh no.
God.
So then the next person comes up, and there's a sign in the box office window that says the Grand Budapest Hotel in gigantic letters under that 4:30.
Yeah.
Smaller letters under that is sold out.
Okay.
Because they're doing everybody a courtesy, right?
Yeah.
The lady walks up to the window and she's like, excuse me, you need, because it was after 4:30.
Yeah.
You need to take that sign out of the window because when I walked up, it scared the daylights out of me. I thought I wasn't going to get to see the movie.
Oh my God. Why can't people deal with themselves?
And everybody in line's like, what is happening here? People here have opinions about stuff.
Oh man.
And the guy's like, okay. She's like, no, I think you should do it right now. Like I want to see. I don't want anybody else
see
to
that
have
sign
to.
gone.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, and goes over and takes it down.
Yeah.
Now what she doesn't see is that at the other side of the box,
There's
office,
another
there's
one.
another one. But he takes that one down. She
Yeah.
buys her ticket, and she's like, thank you, and you might want to be just conscious of that in the future. It was just
my
like,
God.
oh my God, what is this poor guy? Now, the one redeeming factor is that there was a older couple right in front of me who seemed like just a harmless old couple.
Yeah.
The old guy walks up to the movie to buy his ticket. He goes, I would like just 2 tickets to see this. And we all started laughing. Then his wife was like, oh, and dear, make sure you take down the other sign. And everybody's like, they're obviously goofing on the 2 people who came before him. And my wife and I laughed because we were right behind them. So it became like this little joke in our part of the line. And to his credit, everybody who was laughing, the guy at the box office gave us all a discount
Oh, nice.
on our tickets. He's like, so I guess everybody heard that, huh? And we're all like, yeah. But yeah, he gave us all a discount.
Good. I hope he raised the price on the.
I know, right?
Oh my God. Why they gotta?
I don't understand why people have to be so rude. Like,
Well, it's like, it's not like it's a butler or something.
right?
It's just the guy at the movie
just
theater.
some guy.
It's the box office kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as though you're at the White House.
Right.
Or you're being received by the royal family.
Right. Nor are you the royal family. You
Yeah,
deserve some kind of
exactly.
treatment that I just couldn't believe it. You need to drop the just because it makes people feel alone. You are alone, lady.
You're alone. And just keep that to yourself. If that's bothering you so much, that's fine. Mm-hmm. People say stuff and I'm like, oh God, it's so annoying. And then I walk away and I turn to the person I'm with and go, oh, that was so annoying that they said that.
Right.
I don't make a point of humiliating people or actually in this case, yourself.
Yes, exactly.
But those people are impervious to knowing that they've humiliated
I
themselves.
guess so, because it upsets me when I see people be rude. It's like when people talk on cell phones while they're checking out at the grocery store.
Well, I feel like they're the people who are on their way to becoming that person are the people who, like, if you ever notice, like, when you're somewhere with like lots of people, like there's some people who are just walking and they will not move.
Oh yeah.
Like you're on an intercept course and you move a little bit expecting, okay, they'll move a little bit too.
Right.
And then we can all fit through here. And they're just like, nope.
No.
And sometimes it's because they're completely oblivious. That one's actually somewhat excusable because you're like, well, okay, it's not excusable that you're completely oblivious, but
at least
you don't see me at all. So I understand why
it's
you
not a
couldn't
malicious
move.
thing.
Whereas sometimes like you make eye contact and they're just like, yeah, my group that's 4 wide is more important than your 2 wide 2 people. So you're going to go into the street to get around me.
Right.
Like, oh, those people make me so mad. For some reason,
It's
I
just
feel
so
like
selfish.
I fall victim to them more than anyone else around me. Like, I find myself just dodging humans, like,
Yeah.
all
You're
the
playing
time.
chicken with people.
Yeah, and then me having to jump out of the way at the last second all the time, and I feel like no one else is doing that. I feel like everyone else in the planet is just the people who go where they want to go and get there however they feel like it, and I'm the one who has to move for everyone. I don't know why.
Right. I don't know. It feels like this problem has gotten worse in my lifetime. I don't know why that is. Maybe I'm just older, so I see it more and I can recognize it more.
No, it's because the problem is that we're part of that. We're right at the beginning of that stupid generation of people who got the participation awards and have ridiculously high self-esteem.
For no good reason.
And think that they are entitled to a million things.
Yes, I agree with that.
None of that is true.
No.
And sadly, because it's the millennial generation, sadly, we're right. Technically part of that.
We're
like the first.
We're that crossover generation.
Yeah.
We're not really part of Generation X.
Yeah.
But we're not really.
Technically, we're part of the millennials.
Right.
But we don't necessarily identify with the core of that group at this point.
Yes. Right. We didn't have cell phones till we went to college.
Yeah. All right. Should we do our topic?
Yeah. So either way, just saying.
Yeah.
Be kind, people. Be kind.
Well, just don't be dumb movie theater people.
Yeah.
Because then you're dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Topic today. Topic today to tell you.
The topic
Today,
it's
nerds.
it's nerds.
Yeah.
Here's how we came about this topic.
Yeah, our thesis, if you will.
Yes, is that it's now considered quote unquote cool to be a nerd.
Yeah.
Or that's the
perceived image.
That's the perceived image.
That, oh
with
yeah, now everybody's a nerd.
And all the Comic-Con stuff, all the Marvel superhero stuff is lending into this.
Star Trek is cool.
Star Trek is cool now. But it's not.
It's not.
That's not being a nerd.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
the point.
Well, the image that they're trying to sell is that, see, look, everybody's a nerd.
Right.
And it's cool to be a nerd. And girls love nerds.
Yeah.
And
it's like, no.
And as a nerd, I'm coming here to tell you.
Yeah, that's not true.
That's not true. And I would be shocked if I went to a local high school and found that the situation had changed all that much.
That's right.
For real nerds.
Well, right. That's the problem, is that there's now this, like, everyone wants to be like, I'm a nerd. I love Superman. I like to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm a nerd. Or I like the Big Bang Theory, so that means I'm a nerd. And it's like, no.
Right. No, because you don't really.
No,
you don't really like Superman.
Well, no, you like watching that, but
yes.
you don't obsess over it.
But you don't know what the Lost City of Candor is.
Right, that's exactly right. You can't go more than one round with people. If you met an actual nerd who's
Correct.
like a Superman nerd, you
Right.
could not even hold the conversation.
Correct.
That's the problem that we're having in this society, is everyone thinks, I'm a nerd. Hey, look, I dressed up like Princess Leia in my slave outfit. And you're like, yeah,
So?
but do you know what a Salamiri is?
You Salamiri, right.
That's what we were talking about.
And the effects that they have on the Jedi?
Yeah.
Do you?
Do you
'Cause
know?
I don't think you do.
I don't
and
think
if you
know.
don't, then you're not a nerd.
Yeah. Do you know?
And
do you know why it's called the Kessel Run? Do you know where Kessel actually is?
like on a map, I want you to point it out.
I could point it out. I could also tell you the unique features of why making the Kessel Run is something to be proud of.
Especially since he made it in less distance than in time.
That's right.
So if you think it was time, you don't understand the Kessel Run. On top of that, and I think I want to clarify,
Yeah.
and I think you'll be on the bandwagon with this. We are not trying to make nerds sound like some sort of exclusive club.
No.
It's not like we're saying, oh, well, you have to be a true fan to be a nerd. No. I'm saying it's not as cool to be a nerd as the media is trying to portray it is.
That's the thing, is that there's a lot of people out there who here's what I think has happened.
Okay.
Because I'll use Star Wars as an example, because I'm a Star Wars nerd.
Yes,
that would
you are.
be my nerd.
Yeah.
It would be Star Wars. I know more about that than any of the people out there
On Earth,
who have their Han Solo poster up on the wall. Like, most of those people
Right.
don't know as much as I know, sadly.
Correct.
Not bragging. Because there's
No,
nothing to brag
there's
about.
nothing to brag
There's
about.
nothing
That was my point.
I'm not proud of this.
That was my point. Is that it's not? We're not trying to make it sound like
Yeah.
oh, we're cooler because we're real. No,
Not at all.
This is not a happy issue.
Yeah. But Star Wars always was like the highest grossing movie.
Right.
So that movie came out and made the most money any movie had ever made.
Right.
But the entire time we were growing up, which was the 80s and 90s,
Right.
it was not cool to be into Star Wars.
Right.
But
Everybody had seen Star Wars.
everybody had seen it, but it wasn't cool to like really, really be into it.
Correct.
Now I think what has happened is those people who saw it and liked it, some people saw it 2-3 times, it's become okay to admit that you like it.
Right.
But that does not make you a nerd.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
You didn't read all the books. You didn't
And you
play
can-
imaginary whatever.
Correct.
Like, you just liked the movies and it wasn't cool to like them. So
Right.
you didn't tell anyone. Now it's okay to tell people.
And I guess my addition to that would be that being a nerd is not a fandom-based thing.
Yeah.
It is a social-based thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Being a nerd describes a lack of social skills that no amount of Big Bang Theory could ever solve.
And a certain amount of like obsessiveness.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
yeah. But that's part of your
Yeah.
social issues.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
you have replaced deciding to have friends with
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons.
With dropping solely into one world or maybe a few. But
Right.
That's the other thing, is that there's so many people that are into I love Harry Potter and I love Star Wars and I love Marvel and you're like, then you're not a nerd. If you like all those things equally,
right?
Like that's not nerds are really kind of real focused.
Yes.
And like so deep into like one or two things.
Right.
And if you're a nerd who's like, oh, the new Star Trek movies are great and I love Star Wars, then you're a liar. You can't be a nerd and love both of those equally. You can't.
Not equally.
No.
You're going to have a preference.
Yes.
You're going to have a preference. And the reason for that is that you're going to have seen the new Star Trek movies. And
I've been like, that's just like Star Wars.
He's trying to make it more like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Thank God he's directing Star Wars now.
Yeah, I know.
Or maybe not. Maybe you hate the fact that he's directing Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yes, and here's what I see as the main problem.
Okay.
Is that you have shows like The Big Bang Theory.
That is the main problem in my life.
Okay.
Can't stand that show.
Oh, that show's the
cannot
worst.
stand that program.
And it's very, very popular.
The main protagonists of that television program are just so annoying.
Yes.
See what I did there?
Yes, I did. Our protagonist.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I will say that part of the reason that they're annoying is because they are close to being nerds, but they're like nerds as written by people
who made fun of nerds.
Who made fun of. That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like.
They're a stereotype of a nerd,
right?
Which is not really what I would. I mean, yes, there's some.
Oh, sure. There's
certain
nerds.
Little things that they're doing that are like, oh, okay, I get it. But that show is entirely the thing that people like about that are all its references. It makes references to different pop culture nerdy things.
Correct. And I feel like
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I really don't like that show. I think
there's nothing funny about it.
Bad writing.
It's bad writing because I don't think it's written by nerds. You know why? Because nerds would not be television writers.
What are you talking about? Nerds are always television writers. I just feel like these nerds are not the right nerds to be telling the nerd story. At least they're not doing a good. Like it's bad writing at its core.
Yeah.
It's bad writing.
Yeah.
Regardless of if they're nerds or not.
Yeah.
It's bad writing. Okay. Bad writing, and I feel like it's. Yeah. It's studio nerds, business nerds trying to portray fandom nerds.
Yes.
And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's them looking up the internet for references is how it feels.
That's how it feels.
It feels like they're looking on the internet
regardless
to
of
find
who is
references.
actually writing the show, this is how it comes
across
to the nerds who actually live like that.
Yes, but I find so many people who claim to be nerds who I'm like, "Oh, interesting. Let me talk to you about something that I'm a nerd about." And then they're like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you about that." And then they bring up the Big Bang Theory, and then I'm just like, "Well, I'm done talking to you. That's it. You've got
you're
now,
discounting.
You've lost now. You're no longer. I'm not gonna believe you now."
Yeah. Well, and it people try to pretend like shows. My point is that people try to pretend like shows like The Big Bang Theory or things like that have made nerds cool.
Yeah.
That now it's perfectly acceptable to be a nerd. You know, you see basketball players wearing glasses and bow ties. You know, there's that whole nerd chic thing where people dress up like nerds and like act like, oh, see, I'm a nerd. And what I feel that this leads to, and the main problem that I have with this whole thing, is that what this means is that somewhere at some high school, and probably more than one, there is a jock who's wearing fake glasses and a fake bow tie, beating up a kid who has to wear has to wear glasses and really likes his bow tie. Okay, and you know he's beating him up with the guy's chemistry book. Yeah. So that's what this is leading to. Now everybody's like, "Oh, nerds are fine. Nerds don't have nerds are not fine."
You still don't think that.
And the commercials, or they show this guy's a nerd, but look, the ladies love him. That's never happening.
It's never been true.
That's never happening.
No.
Okay.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. It never has happened.
Yeah.
And it's still not happening.
Yeah.
And I for my fellow nerds, I just want to say, stay strong.
Well, see, and that's like the whole Comic-Con thing, which is this huge business now.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, real nerds don't go there. Because they're socially like, I don't want to be with that many people.
That's how I feel.
Like some of them, okay, maybe some of them can put on their costume and then pretend like they're someone else. That's the angle there.
Right.
But most of the people that I see when I see the news reports, I'm like, you guys aren't nerds.
They're fans.
They're fans.
Right. And there's a difference between being a fan and a nerd.
Yeah.
A nerd can be a fan, but a fan does not necessarily be a nerd.
Yes.
So I just wanted to highlight the issue of let's not pretend like being a nerd is cool.
Yeah.
It never has been.
It's never going to be.
It's never going to be. Because you're socially inept.
Yeah, because people are going to talk to you, and you're going to be like, oh, well, that's like what Han Solo did when he was inside the giant space slug, and you're like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Mm-hmm. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, because being a nerd is more than just being a fan.
Yeah.
And when a girl walks up to a nerd and is like, hey, I like nerds, and he's like, oh, God. And instantly blows his cool.
Yeah.
And she walks away and goes out with the jock.
Yeah.
Who just wears the nerd attire.
Who just wears a Superman shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
So now she feels like, see, I like nerds. And you're like,
yeah.
no, you like the captain of the football team.
Yeah.
Just because he wears a Superman shirt does not mean that he's a nerd.
That's the problem. There's too much, I'm fine that, like, okay, it's one thing where, yes, there is an effect where things that were considered nerdy and, you like that, are now cool.
Yes,
That's the case.
But that didn't help nerds at all.
Yeah, but just
that
because,
just helped the normal
all
people.
it is to me, it's like, well, because someone made it accessible.
Yeah.
Someone made a movie of it that was more accessible, or someone did,
Some nerd made a movie of it.
Some nerdy made an accessible an accessible version of it.
Yeah.
That now people can jump on and not feel like they're not in over their head.
Right.
Because it was accessible to everyone.
But that requires so little effort.
I know.
And my definition of a nerd requires that they put in effort to something that nobody should be putting effort into.
Yes, there you go. I think you've hit it there. You're spending large quantities of your life dedicated to doing things and
that nobody should be doing.
That's complete, honestly, a waste of anyone's. It's not productive.
It's not going to get you girls.
No.
It's not going to make you popular. It probably won't get you a job. A few nerds will get jobs knowing this stuff. But another example I would use is the fact that you and I, having grown up reading books like Treasure Island, have always had a love for seafaring stories and pirates in particular. Yeah. Okay? I'm not going to say Cutthroat Island is a good movie because it's not.
I like it.
But I enjoyed it when it came out. You know what I'm saying? It's because
we were like 9.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah. There was a ship exploded. I was 9.
I was 9. I loved it. But also there was just
there was
pirates
nothing
to be seen.
There were no pirates.
Nowadays, and this is another thing that I feel I want to bring up here, is that as a nerd, I want to start slugging people.
Yes.
Because now because of Captain Jack Sparrow, people think, like everybody's like, I love pirates, and you feel a little devalued. No, you didn't. Right. Like I always liked pirates.
Yeah.
And I understand that this argument is a little bit like, no, you can't have it.
But that's why you're a nerd, though.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's the thing. And I feel like a lot of nerds feel that this way, is that now people are like, I love that. And they're like, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't love it. Because I do, and
I loved
know.
It before.
Yeah. I liked it before.
I loved it when I had to work for it.
Yeah.
Now you just love it because you like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
You don't like pirates, you like Johnny Depp.
Again, they made an accessible movie that everyone could like. Mm-hmm. It's not the same. Like, and that's I think what's the hardest thing to communicate. And the most nerds just have to just be like, just a little bit, just internalize it somehow and just be like, oh God.
Well, okay, and I think that,
like, I think for the most part though, I would say that, speaking for nerds, I'm not upset that all this stuff is, being produced and put out there necessarily.
Oh, no.
The Big Bang Theory makes me angry, but
yes, but I think the Big Bang
Theory, making Marvel movies and DC movies and new Star Wars movies and new Star Trek movies, like, great, that's awesome.
Right.
I thought maybe we're never going to get new Star Trek movies.
Right.
I thought Star Wars was over. I still kind of do, but
but. And even the Big Bang Theory, which you and I have just gone on a tirade about how bad it is. And it is bad. I'm not retracting anything I said about it. It did make, quote unquote, a perception of nerddom more accessible to it falls into that same category of accessibility.
Yes.
Because people like it. Okay? And to its credit, I will say that it does feature protagonists that are supposed to be intelligent.
Yeah.
Which, good luck finding that on any show on American television.
Yeah.
Americans...
Or sitcom, at least.
Although you look around at the television landscape, there's very few. I'm not saying there's none.
Okay.
There's very few. As a culture, a media culture, we do not value intelligent people.
Yeah.
Do you know why? because they're nerds and we make fun of them.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's true.
So, and I guess to me that's the disconnect.
Yeah.
Is that we can be lauding nerd culture on one hand, and still, when real nerds show up and say, "Hey, evolution is real," we're like, "Hey, F you, buddy, get out of my face." Okay? If you're gonna accept nerds, you have to accept all the nerds.
Yeah.
You can't just pretend to like nerds.
Well, and you just use a term that is kind of, to me, an oxymoron, which is nerd culture.
Right.
That's the problem. There's a thing now called nerd culture.
Yes.
Real nerds
They
don't really fit into it. They fit into the culture of like Klingons. Like,
well,
that's
they
their
fit into the definition of a nerd is that they have a culture of 1.
Yes, exactly.
At a maximum, they have a culture of 4.
Yeah.
Because they need people to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you think, I just want to let you know out there, the nerds understand what we're talking about, and they know whether or not they qualify as nerds.
Yeah, because they also have gotten angry when someone said they like something.
And they've also come home crying because they've had their lunch money taken, and they know in their deepest of hearts that girl you like will never like you. Okay? Don't waste any more time on her. All right? Go hang out by the theater department and get yourself a fat girl.
But I'm here to tell you right now, if you have laughed at a Big Bang Theory, you're not a nerd. So I'm just going to throw that out there. By my standards, you're not. So if you're posting all your little stupid things on Facebook about the Big Bang Theory and being like, nerds are the best, I'm like, you're not. So
you're not a nerd.
So what do you know about it? If it truly takes one to know one, then you don't know.
See, the problem that I'm having with this now is that there's probably one true nerd out there who also likes the Big Bang Theory.
Well, they're stupid. We don't care about them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We'll just go with that.
Okay, we'll go with that. Excellent. So, yeah, just to wrap this up a little bit, put a final little button on it. One hand, media saying everybody loves nerds. The reality, very different.
The reality is the same as it's always
been.
As
it's always
been. That's
been.
What's being missed here.
They like the image of nerds. They don't want to deal with real nerds.
Yeah.
Because the real nerds are here to tell you things that you don't want to hear.
When you've got, I don't know.
You want to see a real nerd?
Yeah.
Turn on Cosmos.
You're obsessed with it right now.
No, I was trying to do a segue.
Oh, it was a segue.
I was trying to.
You're also obsessed with it, though.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But I was obsessed with it before.
Anyway, hold on. I'm not ready to move on yet.
Oh, okay. Do you know why I'm obsessed with it?
Because you like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Because I am a nerd. And I get obsessed with things.
That's true. No, I just want it's the media again. That's part of the problem. Is they're out there being like, well, blah, 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 the gathering and and you're like, oh God, stop. They don't gather.
No,
nerds don't They don't gather in large numbers.
No, I'm gonna paraphrase a saying that I said about a different group of people. Gathering nerds is like herding cats.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
They're just gonna fight each other because they all have very strong differing opinions.
Yes.
That's the thing also that's missing is the strength of opinion. Like, you'll just get mad and just be like, I'm never talking to that person again. You know why? Because they said the real Green Lantern was not Hal Jordan.
Right.
So
they obviously don't know what
they don't know anything. There's no point in listening to anything they have to say now.
Yes.
It makes me mad now. And now I'm angry talking about it. Because
I understand.
It's not cool.
It's not cool. And the real nerds are still suffering out there.
They're still out there. They're still being isolated.
They're still second-class citizens.
Sometimes by their own choice.
Yes. They're still being beaten up. They're still being ignored. They're still getting good grades.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would just come back to my original thing. I think now it's now okay to say that you enjoy.
Right. And let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You can enjoy it.
You don't have
to. You're not a nerd because you enjoyed it.
Correct.
Millions and millions of people enjoy it.
In fact,
as well.
that's kind of insulting to nerds.
Yeah.
To say that, oh, see, I'm a nerd because I like that too.
And you're like,
you think
what?
Being a nerd is that simple?
Yeah.
I'm a whole person over here.
Exactly. Yeah. Just because you like it does not make you a nerd. That just means you admitted what millions of other people also thought.
Right.
Was, I like that movie.
I like Star Wars. Well, join the club. Everybody
join the club. Like, anyone who tells you they don't like Star Wars probably hasn't seen it.
Right.
It's entertaining,
And it's like the biggest movie that was ever made. So,
yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, okay. I don't know why I had to keep talking about that.
But it's because it upsets you.
Because I'm upset.
It's because you're upset. And that's okay.
All right, so we've got another TV review here. We don't have the jingle for that, obviously, yet. Right. So, TV review. Let's talk about TV. Talking about television. There.
Okay.
There it was.
All right.
So what is it? Wait. We know what it is.
We know what it is. It's Cosmos. I tried to do a segue earlier.
I know.
I was shut down.
I shut it down because that was my nerd rage.
I was about to say, I was shut down by nerd rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show is Cosmos, a space-time odyssey.
Yeah.
Hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. This is a review not having seen all the episodes.
Correct.
Only 2 have aired as
only
of
2
the
have aired
recording
as
of
of
this.
yes. So it is possible that something would change my score down the line.
Yeah.
But as of seeing the first 2,
yeah,
it doesn't look likely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. We have just to remind people, we have our 3 categories: talent, tech, entertainment value, and then a final score.
Yeah.
All based on a schoolhouse type rubric. So talent, first up, really is one talent on the show. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, but you could argue that the writers.
Oh, sure. You have Andrew
behind
and
the science of it
are the talent. Yes,
the talent,
and
I guess I would say the talent is in presenting the concepts, because there's some pretty advanced stuff that they're trying to. I don't want to say dumb down, but simplify at least to a level
and make enjoyable
and make it entertaining as well.
Sure. And that's why this show kind of has a crossover between talent and tech.
Yeah.
Because the tech plays a big part in making these things accessible. But in terms of the host, Neil deGrasse Tyson, that dude is goofy, but he actually is pulling this off better than I thought he would.
Yeah, there's every like in the last episode they had the part where he was like pretending to fight. I mean, a lot of it is CGI stuff. So he's like fighting off the wolves.
Right.
And like he's kind of like he's not a good actor, and so like he
well, he's not
he
an
does
actor.
like a little thing where he's like staring down the wolf, and it's funny. Like I just laughed at it. I'm just like,
but I get the sense that he understands that
he's making it light. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna get this wolf, and you're like, okay, but he knows that he's kind of a big nerd, big round.
Having
guy.
seen him, I don't want to say perform, but speak prior to this, usually he has a hard time like. He gets so excited about stuff.
Yeah, if you ever see him on like the Colbert Report, he's been on that like a million times.
He gets so excited about stuff that he flusters himself. He can't speak. He looks like a big nerd.
and he's very light in tone and making jokes and stuff. So I think that when he's fighting off the wolf, I don't think he thinks that this is a great.
Yeah, exactly.
I looked like I was really going to kill that wolf. I think he kind of knows like it's a wink wink.
But actually, I was just saying that I think he's, and it's because obviously they can write for him.
Yeah.
They can edit. All of that stuff. I'm not trying to say that he's all of a sudden a master performer or anything like that. But he comes off as more, I think, accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
His personality never gets too over the top where you're like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Versus sometimes he can.
Yeah.
Because he's a nerd. And kind of in combination with that, the tech side of it, and it kind of all meshes together because a big part of this show is the effects, the visuals, because they're trying to make obviously science more accessible, as Carl Sagan did many years ago. The writing is Neil deGrasse Tyson, Andrew Yan, and another guy who I should have written his name down before we started because I knew it, but now I don't.
Okay,
which. A good portion of that team worked on the original Cosmos years ago, so they're good.
Yeah.
And they're good at making science understandable and full of wonder, making you amazed. Yeah. So the talent I gave an A-. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is pretty good, but for the very reasons that you said.
Yeah. And also, I think that the one thing that the original Cosmos, Carl Sagan was much, much more well known in the zeitgeist.
Yes, I understand. Yes,
than Neil deGrasse Tyson is today. Like,
right,
man on the street would have known who Carl Sagan was when that aired.
Correct.
Not the case. So I think that's. But there's no. I don't think there's anyone else though that
can come close to his level because he has some stature.
I can't think of like a scientist that's
more well known than him.
More well known today, or who is out there in the public.
Right.
There's lots of scientists who are more well known, but you don't know what they look like or how they sound. It's because of their names.
Right, and I don't know if there's a whole lot more scientists that
Yeah.
are man on the street well known. You're gonna have a
Right.
best chance
Yes.
with man on the street.
Yeah,
with
but I
Neil
don't think
deGrasse
it's at
Tyson.
the level that Carl Sagan was.
I would agree with
So
that.
I think that's one of the weaknesses.
Yes,
if we're
yes,
giving-
and that's why
if
I
we're
give it
gonna
an
assign
A-
some
because
weaknesses. Yeah.
if you're comparing hosts of Cosmos, Carl
Well, he's
Sagan.
and Neil I think is more entertaining of a host. I think he's more of a Hollywood
Yes,
sensibility to him
I would agree with that.
than Sagan.
But Sagan,
But then Sagan has the credibility.
he has both credibility
Yeah.
and just. I mean,
Yeah.
while Neil deGrasse Tyson obviously has passion for science,
Yeah.
somehow Carl Sagan was able to just like
It's like
push his passion.
He's
through
a little understated versus Neil deGrasse Tyson just being like, "Oh my God, isn't this great? Don't you guys think this
and
is
it comes
awesome?"
off as even more
Yeah.
genuine. I think
more gravitas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I really like Neil
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson. He gets an A-.
Yeah.
He's just Carl Sagan edges him
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
The show is beautiful.
yeah. I have some issues with some of the effects.
I know, but that's because you have special effects issues.
Well, yeah, but the first one was like groundbreaking in the use of special effects.
Yes.
This is not breaking any ground.
No.
The special effects are canned. I mean, they're good. There's nothing bad.
Right.
Every now and then there might be a bad whatever, but for the most part they're fine. I'm not like
It's
being
just
upset. It's just it's stuff I've seen. It's nothing I haven't seen.
Yes, but that's because the original broke the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do that's more groundbreaking for this one? I mean, we've spent literally the past 30 years since Cosmos came out developing technology to show everything that they showed in Cosmos.
Yeah, but I don't know. You could maybe get more creative with just not with the quality of the effects. That is what it is with the budget and whatever. It's TV, but with the
The idea behind the effect?
idea behind it or the shot selection or something you could get.
Sure, I guess I could see that. I personally gave the tech an A.
Yeah.
Just because I feel it creates that sense of fascination and wonder that I feel when I think about outer space and the cosmos or biology or all these different things, and it does it in a way that supports what they're trying to say and makes it easy for people to understand the concepts that they're trying to portray.
Yeah, I think
which for me is much more
the
important.
communication, it's very well communicated, all the concepts.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yes, this is definitely a show you want to watch on your television, rather than on your phone or something, because there are visuals that you're going to want to see.
I feel like I would actually prefer it if there was a little bit less CGI stuff.
Yes.
Like when they're talking about, like the last episode, they were talking about, it was all about biology.
Yeah.
And they were talking about these little creatures that are basically like indestructible, that live in like any environment. Why can't I see that? Why can't you show me a microscope image of that? I mean, I understand, show me the little CGI representation, but let me see that it's real.
Oh, okay. I do
You
see
know
what
what
you're
I'm
saying
saying?
there. I do. My criticism here would actually not be that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But that's a valid point.
Yeah.
Would be sometimes they edge right up to the edge of they're obviously trying to make it exciting to watch.
Yeah.
At the expense of, like, they spend a little more time with his little spaceship flying through someplace and looking cool, and they could be telling me science.
Yeah, that's true. There was,
But I understand that they're trying to walk that tightrope of.
and they're trying to give you a break between all this information they're giving.
Yes. Now I can handle more information, but I
Yeah.
also understand that they're not. I am.
You're not the target.
Right.
You already are on board with all
They
this stuff.
know I'm gonna watch the show.
Yeah.
And they know that I already feel that sense of wonder.
Yeah.
They're trying to attract new people.
Yeah.
Who go see Transformers
Yeah.
and think that it's well written.
Yeah. What are you? Am I supposed to? Are you looking at me like
I was waiting to see if you were going to challenge me on that.
No.
No, I didn't. Okay, good. I didn't think so.
But I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it too. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna go see Optimus Prime ride a dinosaur.
Oh yeah,
That looks.
that's
great.
happening. So then I guess the final thing, entertainment value, is it what it's set out to be? Yes, I feel that it is.
Okay.
I feel my only criticism here would be it's better. The show is better if you've seen the original Cosmos, because it is doing a really good job of explaining stuff, and it also is doing a really good job of being an extension of the original Cosmos. The downside is that the original Cosmos, and let me take the last episode for an example. He talked about evolution.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, he showed the original animation that Carl Sagan showed, 40 million years and 40 seconds, where you see the entire evolution from single-celled organism
the little
to man.
animated line drawings.
Correct. Well, in the original, Carl Sagan spent almost the entire episode going through every single stage of that to explain to the viewer how it is that evolution works and why it is that it's ridiculous to think otherwise.
Yeah.
And they definitely covered that in this episode, but not to the depth and to the degree that Carl Sagan did. And the second episode was good, but it was way better if you'd seen the original and had that information, and then were able to add on what Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, and you have to assume that these people know that most people watching this have not seen the original.
Correct.
So
and that
you have to take that into account, that they knew that. They knew that they were going to put this out there, and people might go, oh, this is based on something? What is it? And go, oh, it's that. Okay, but they're not going to watch it.
They're not going to go watch it.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
And I will say that like the National Geographic Channel has been playing
I
the
saw
originals.
that they were replaying them,
But
they're not.
The people
that they're wanting to see this haven't seen it.
Correct. And they're not going to because it already upsets them.
Yeah. So so I would say, I don't want to criticize it and say that it's not going deep enough on the science, because I'm like, well, for me, it's not.
Right, and that's where we run into trouble.
I don't want to sound like I'm smarter than everyone, but for me, it's not going deep. I would be more interested if it went deeper, but they only have an hour, and they're trying whatever their structure that they've come up with. For
and
their
this is why
episodes,
I say yes, and this is why I say that is it what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yes. Could it go deeper on the science? Yes, of course it could.
Yeah.
But
is that really a major issue? Yeah.
The point of the show is not to teach you in-depth science.
Yeah.
The point of the show is to get you excited about
So
learning
maybe
science.
Maybe you'll go find out. Yeah.
Feel a sense of wonder at the amazingness of the universe that we live in.
Yeah.
And to give you just a taste of what both Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson refer to as the cosmic perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe open your mind just a little bit, broaden it out there, and give you a healthy dose. Both of these actually both series so far at least have done a good job of this. Is giving you a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah.
And they are accomplishing those goals.
Yeah.
Could they go deeper with the science for people like you and me? Yeah. But the fact that we already want them to go deeper means that this show is not really trying to get us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my final score on it would be, I'm giving it an A. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
For younger people especially, I could see how it would be something that would really kind of blow your mind a little bit. And I just hope, against hope, that it has its desired effect, even in a small community of people.
Yeah. I do find that just watching the first 2 episodes, I was like, how the hell is this on Fox?
Right?
And I feel like it was completely through Seth MacFarlane.
It was. I actually read about
forcing it to be basically being like, I'll take my business elsewhere if you don't make this prime time.
No, I read about this, and basically they were like, well, we're not going to do that. And he was like, then give it Family Guy's time slot. I'll give up Family Guy's time slot. You put it in that one.
Yeah.
It was 100%. Everybody said no to Andrew and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
And then Seth MacFarlane, because right now Fox loves him because...
Yeah, well, he can do no. He's a golden boy over there now.
Right.
Yeah.
He forced it through. It was 100% Seth MacFarlane.
But I do get the feeling like every time I see an episode, I'm like, I feel like this ain't gonna last 13 episodes. Like episode 5 or 6, they're gonna pull this and just air it on cable.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's still a legitimate risk, unless
with some of the things that they're saying
that's
and
been
knowing,
made has been made.
Right. Some of the things that they're saying and knowing
I don't
Fox's
know.
constituency.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for the little technical difficulties card to come up on the screen.
Well, no. In fairness, Fox. Fox News and Fox are fairly separated.
That's true.
The TV, like the main broadcasting channel, Fox, is not really.
Well, they do air Family Guy, which most people who are going to have a problem with.
Yeah. So I think there's a firewall there, enough of that. But
there was, just in case you were thinking, oh, well, it's a little different. It is, and it isn't.
Yeah.
Because there was a radio station, a television station, I want to say it was in Kansas.
Yeah.
That in the first episode where he started talking about evolution.
Yeah.
They took it off the air.
Oh, okay.
And then brought it back once he was done.
that
happened.
Yeah.
I don't know how they handled the second episode.
Yeah. They just didn't air that one.
So it is getting some response like that.
Yeah, but I don't know what kind of ratings it's gotten.
The opening, it was ridiculously high.
Oh, okay.
The first episode. I haven't checked
Yeah.
on the ratings for the second one.
Yeah.
But the first one, it was.
But if there was like a major drop off, I could still see them being like, yeah, this is just going to run on Nat Geo now for like the remaining of the run. I could totally see that.
I could totally see that happening.
Because it does feel like a Discovery Channel type show to me. It doesn't feel like it should be on in prime time.
Well, and it also feels a little bit like Neil deGrasse Tyson and the writers of the show.
Yeah.
In only the first 2 episodes, you've gotten a strong impression that they're saying, hey, religion, step off. Let science be science. You have gotten a very strong feeling about that. I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. I'm just saying that it seems to be
that they're just
they're like
everybody back off.
Right.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Science is science.
Yeah.
And evolution's a fact. And like they're kind of really thumbing their nose at they bite their thumb at people.
At the stupid people.
Oh yeah. We were just trying not to take a position, and then you took one.
I don't have a problem calling those people.
Yeah, if you don't believe in evolution,
calling people who don't believe in evolution stupid.
I'll
I'll
stand by that.
If you have a problem with that, then don't listen.
Yeah,
all 4 of you.
Yeah,
who are listening, I know none of you have a problem with that.
Right. True.
So I don't think we're in any danger there.
No.
But yeah, it's good. It's good.
Check it out.
Let's just briefly kind of review the Academy Awards.
Yeah. What did you think of the show?
I liked. I heard mixed things about Ellen. I thought she was hilarious.
I thought she was great.
I don't know. Sometimes it depends on who you're watching with and what group you're with.
I suppose that's true.
But I thought it was great. I thought that I think some people also thought that a lot of the stuff that was just like literally improv was scripted.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got a sense that it was, and then after the fact, I've obviously realized it wasn't scripted. Like that pizza guy.
That pizza guy had no idea.
He was bringing pizza to the writers.
And she did break Twitter.
Yeah. So no, I thought a lot of those little things were. I was like, that's exactly what you're here for, is to break this up, do something fun in between. I don't need to hear the canned jokes.
Right.
That's not. Everybody expects that, so I was glad that she got down in the crowd and worked the crowd. I mean, that's what people are there to watch on TV. Hey, I want to see the stars. She went down there and worked the stars.
Yes, and you know what? In her defense, I would say most of the time when you see an award show like that, and you cut down, or the host is going down there to do something with the stars, or they cut down to the stars always have that look on their face, like I'll play along, but get the away from me.
Yeah,
Versus. It was very clear to me, at least it seems very clear to me, that everybody there actually enjoyed Ellen's company.
Yeah,
you rarely got the feeling of that she was intruding, or that they weren't enjoying themselves. And I feel like if they were enjoying themselves, it made for a better show.
Yeah, and they were like, I mean, when Kevin Spacey was just passing out napkins and stuff, that was cracking me up.
When Harrison Ford had to go, because that dude needed pizza.
He did.
Like, he was like, stop everything.
He's like, I want
Bring the pizza to me.
And then he was like,
he's
napkin.
Like, hey, give me a napkin.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat some pizza right now. Okay, I'm wearing a tuxedo. I need a napkin.
Yeah.
But, so, I like I said, it seemed that everybody there seemed to be enjoying her.
Yeah, I think so.
Which doesn't always
it's not
seem
always
like that.
No, because sometimes there's such a huge, like, kind of invisible wall there, and she kind of just immediately was like, I'm coming down here. No. And none of her jokes were real mean.
No,
but they were funny nonetheless. Like, I love the mean jokes. Because I like the awkwardness. Right. And the one about Liza Minnelli was hilarious, and she didn't get it at all, which made it even funnier.
Yeah, that was good.
So I liked her.
Mm-hmm. There were not a whole lot of surprises.
Yeah, I was about to say, there was nothing that really wasn't predictable as far as winners. Right.
Even Ellen made that joke about how,
that was the best, because that ended up being exactly, in my opinion, what happened is that if 12 Years a Slave wins, or you're all racists.
Right.
That's what she said. And then they proceeded to give every award to Gravity except one.
Right.
Which they gave to 12 Years a Slave because they didn't want to be racist.
Right.
Which offended me even more.
No, because Gravity did clean up, and I was very pleased to see that.
Here's what's upsetting to me, because, you and I both kind of thought 12 Years a Slave was going to win this for a number of stupid reasons.
Right.
But there was a bit of hope welling up in me during the show, and I was like, Gravity's winning everything. I think maybe it's going to win. Well, and then it was the ultimate disappointment to me when it didn't, because when you think about it, you go, well, Gravity, it won more Academy Awards this year than anything. Whatever, 10, 12, however many it won. And you're like, yeah. But guess what's going to be printed in the hallway of the Dolby Theater?
Right.
12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave.
It'll be right. It won't be. No one will even know that Gravity existed in 50 years when you go walking down the hall, you won't go, oh, that was the year of Gravity. You'll be like, okay, there, 12 Years a Slave, okay.
Yeah.
And that's...
Just remember, folks, Crash is up there, too.
I know. There's a couple movies up there that shouldn't be up there, but...
yeah.
It's upsetting when there's a movie that wins like 1 million awards and then doesn't win that one.
Yeah. Even though it did seem very much to me like they were doing... Sometimes the Academy, I feel, splits the director and picture awards.
Yeah.
It's a way for them to give out two.
Yeah, we always talk about that. It's kind of giving out 2 Best Pictures,
yeah.
but I feel like it takes away from the guy who just won Best Director.
Yeah.
He's just like, really?
So wait, I was the best director
this
year.
I directed the best. I did the best job directing of anyone.
But my movie didn't turn out to be the best?
The movie that I created by being the best is not. Mm-hmm. That has always been a strange separation for me. And I think that they didn't used to. And like in the last, I would say 15 years, is about 15 years ago is when they started separating it out. And you'd be like, how does this make any sense?
Yeah.
No, it's just weird to me when you go, okay, 12 Years a Slave. Okay, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, earned it.
Absolutely. Cool. No one's going to debate that.
Right.
And then you go, you know what? The best cinematography was in Gravity. The best special effects were in Gravity. The best everything else was in Gravity. But you know what? 12 Years a Slave was a better movie. And you're like, you just got done saying that's not the case.
Right.
You just got done telling me that every other aspect of the film
was the best.
Gravity did it better than any of the other movies.
Right. Including the director, which I still feel is the most telling.
Yes, exactly.
But 12 Years a Slave is the best movie.
Like, but 12 Years a Slave is the best. And you're like, it's not.
Right. And you don't even think so. So
no. I don't know. I feel like anybody who saw those movies could not say that was. I don't even think 12 Years a Slave was number 2. I ended up seeing all but one of the nominated. The only one I didn't see was Philomena. And having seen all of them, obviously, okay, I'm biased. Gravity is not number 1. I'm not expecting it to be everyone else's number 1. Mm-hmm. But 12 Years a Slave is maybe 3rd or 4th for me.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I get more annoyed, is that I'm like, this is totally a political, whatever you want to call it, social, I don't know, play. And that bothers me. And it's also, the other thing I will say is that the Academy's made up mostly of actors.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them.
They're the majority of the
But isn't it true that the people in the category who do the job that the category is about do the voting?
Well, they do the nominating.
They do the nominating.
But everybody gets to vote, which is mostly actors, so they won't take a Gravity because
there's one.
The acting isn't the thing about that movie.
Right.
It's good.
Right.
But I often feel like when actors vote, they're voting for roles that they would have liked to have. That's how I often feel about it. Uh-huh. When you think about the the nominees for actors and the winners and the Best Picture, Best Picture often goes to movies that don't have a lot going on, but there's a lot of acting going on. Right. And the acting, like, if you look at the acting categories for the people who won, you're like, what? There's some movies that you're like, this is the only category this movie's made it in here? Right. Is because you guys were jealous of that role. Right. You guys were like, that's a great role. And you're like, yeah, but so?
Okay. Interesting theory. I like that. I can see that.
So I feel like that's why I think that the actors look at Gravity and go, well, there's only 2 people in that.
And we don't want to, right.
I'd rather vote for a movie that had a nice ensemble with lots of good acting.
Right. Let's tell everybody that that's the kind of movie that they should be making.
Because that's the kind I want to be in.
Right.
Even though it's not the kind people want to see necessarily. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my little soapbox there about the voting group. But yeah, that would be my disappointment, is that there was no surprises. Even the other way. I mean, I was all for Gravity winning a bunch of stuff, but had like something else surprised and been like, oh, look at this. Like, oh, look, Lone Survivor won one of the sound editing ones. Right. Oh, we're like, oh, that's cool. Like, no one expected that. Or maybe maybe Matthew McConaughey didn't win. Right.
See, that was the whole thing, is that everybody who you thought was going to win did.
Yeah. By the way, Matthew McConaughey's speech.
That man.
He loved himself so much.
Yeah, he's an actor.
He was his own hero. In the future. No. Always, though. No one else will ever be his hero, is basically what he said.
Yes, because he is an actor.
A true detective.
And that. But he's also a true actor. Yeah. Which means that basically what every actor wants to give up on the podium, the speech they want to give, goes something like this. I'd like to thank the Academy.
But mostly me.
for finally recognizing something that I've known all along, which is how amazing I am. And you guys finally noticed.
So thank you.
I worked really hard, and I was really good.
In more than just this.
And I've been working really hard.
Yeah.
And I've been really good for a long time. So
welcome to
this is just the first of many.
Club. Yeah. You're right.
If it's up to me.
No, it's true.
So have a good night, everyone.
But
I'm going to get drunk.
Couldn't you at least be like, Laurence Olivier is my hero?
But he's not.
But why not? He should be. He's a better role model than you 10 years from now.
Not in his mind.
No, obviously not. I just thought that was a little strange.
Yeah.
And I'm loving McConaughey right now. Like,
I still am not on board.
Oh, you haven't seen True
I
Detective.
have not seen True Detective. But I'm still, he's in everything. He's hot right now.
Yeah. But that speech, I was just like, this is a little weird. Why would you didn't have someone read this before? Like, you didn't.
He was probably coming up with it right there.
I think he was. Yeah.
And
because he sounded the way he's super excited about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of like what that dude said before the Super Bowl, where he's just like, "I'm the best fullback in the game." Woo! He just let the honesty come out.
And he was like, "I'm the best."
He said what everybody else was thinking all night long.
Yeah,
and that was that. It takes a certain amount of ego to think that you should be a movie star.
That's true.
That's
true.
I am the best. You have to go in with that attitude. And it's because you're going to get turned down a lot. So you need to have the attitude of like,
you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
I would have been really good.
I was the best one you saw today, so good luck.
I didn't even see anybody else, but I know I was the best person.
Your movie's going to suck now, whatever.
And if it doesn't, I still could have done it better.
Yeah. So, yeah, I end up feeling, I don't know.
I personally, I would have to say, I was glad to see all the different music choices, and I personally enjoyed the performance, even though she got some flack because of her high note. I actually did watching the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
Yeah. Adele Dazeem, yeah. She was great. Oh, Adele Dazeem.
Poor John Travolta. I thought that would last a few days. People are still talking about that.
I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say he was drunk. I feel like maybe it was like Botox poisoning or something.
I think maybe his hair was taking control.
He had so much Botox in his face. His hair.
It's strangling his brain.
Well, he was sweating profusely.
He was having a fight with it.
He was internal battle, and that's why. So he got most of it out.
And I will give him this much credit on that. Because I actually feel bad. I feel like
I feel bad for him too.
Let it go. Like it was a mistake.
Let it go.
It was
no
funny.
pun intended.
Right?
Yeah.
But he did it with panache.
I know, and he did not correct himself. That's what I appreciated. He was just like, Adele Dazeem.
Yeah.
And
he's
just
wickedly
like,
talented.
I'm Adele Dazeem.
There you go.
And I'm walking away.
Enjoy it.
And I'm getting the hell away from this mic.
I sold that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you knew who he knew.
You know who I'm talking about. Let's go.
You knew he saw the prompter and went, that's not what came out of my mouth. And went, there you go.
There
and walked away.
Which I think takes some confidence.
Yeah, that takes some confidence because some people probably missed it the first time.
Right. Because he just, yes.
Yeah, it's her.
Look at her.
And if you don't know her name already, you're like, Adele Dazeem, here she is.
Here it is. Let's do this.
Yeah. No, I appreciated that he sold it.
Yeah, he really did. Just both feet in on that one. So
now, this was a year where, though, I have to say I was feeling like, oh, this is going to be a good year. Like, there's going to be a lot of good movies, and then I ended up being like, nah, never mind.
Yeah.
There's only like 2.
Yeah.
But that's usually what happens. You get into that fall, and you start to see the trailers, and you're like, oh, maybe this will be a really good year. And then you're like, it was fine.
Right.
But I'm just waiting for him to actually, because you know that they nominated. They moved the category so that there could be more Best Picture nominees, specifically for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That's why they did that. Then didn't give it to The Dark Knight.
I know.
And now they're back to their old ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, you did that so that you could get a wider audience to watch because you'd be nominating movies that
people like.
And you had your chance to actually give it Best Picture, and I wouldn't have necessarily argued that it wasn't.
Right.
You could argue either way with that one, I think.
Yeah.
But then the next 3 years after that, you've gone to just nominating the same old movies that nobody's seen.
Right.
With, 1 or 2 exceptions. So, I mean, Gravity is probably one that more people saw because of word of mouth, but still it was no Avengers. I'm not saying you should nominate the Avengers, but That's why you did this, isn't it?
Right. Well, and just as my final thought on the Oscar wrap-up and why I ultimately feel like Gravity should have gotten Best Picture, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Is because the point of the Academy Awards, in my mind, and I believe that this is a pretty commonly held belief, is we are giving awards not just because, hey, that was a good movie.
But you're like furthering the art.
Yes, you are furthering the art of film and storytelling through film.
Yeah.
12 Years a Slave, well made. But there's nothing in
furthering
that.
anything.
It did not further the
Didn't even
art.
further the conversation about slavery, in my opinion.
Correct. But it did not further the art of film in any way.
No.
Gravity
did.
Gravity was the only motion picture
the only one of
nominated
those that did.
Mm-hmm. And for that reason alone,
it
deserves the recognition.
Yeah. The other thing,
because it is, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And I've met some people who did not like Gravity.
That's fine. It's still groundbreaking.
It's still yes.
The final note that I'll have is that I like that Hollywood, is taking zero lessons away because every single movie that got nominated was independently produced.
Oh, right.
And they're like, yeah, that's fine. We don't care because the money's over here.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, can you at least take something away from that? Like, you know how much more money you would get if the Avengers was good enough to, I'm not saying seriously, I'm just using that because it's a huge movie, to get a nominee and then you re-released it.
Right.
In January. Like,
right.
Hello.
No, I know.
They don't care though. Because they're just in the cash grab, and then they're like, yeah, on the side we'll have our little splinter independent label produce the movies that'll get nominated. Yeah. I don't like it.
Well, unfortunately, the art isn't... but this is true of the music industry. This is true of a lot of industries where the art is a little devalued right now. Yeah. So, but that's a topic for another day.
That is. All right, this was entirely content. We didn't yell at the viewers. Oh, the contest. My God.
What have we done?
The contest. It's ended. Let's just do it right now.
All right.
I think we both agree who won this.
Yeah. We did.
We had a record. We doubled. 100% increase in the number of people who entered the contest.
That is correct.
Not 100% change in the person who won the contest, however.
100, right. It's 100% the same person.
100%. Melody is now 2 for 2 on our contest, and that's all of your fault.
Yes.
So
we didn't want to give it to her.
She gets a free movie.
Melody, I need you to know.
Yeah.
I did not want you to win.
No, I didn't either.
And I like you. You're a cool
Swoop
person.
in at the last second and take it.
Yeah. I mean, you did what anybody could have done.
That's right. That's the thing.
And I was hoping for a different result. And I considered giving it to the other person who entered.
Mm-hmm. I considered it.
But
then when you look at the...
I can't be untrue that your response was better.
Yes. So, yeah, Melody's entry...
Melody, you win. And what did she put in?
She put Westward No, Clive Manderley's Voyage to Alcatraz.
Come on.
Do you know who Clive Manderley is? It's no one.
That's
what makes it even better. And Melody, let us know if it's someone. But I Google searched Clive Manderley, came up with nothing, so it's just the greatest fake name ever created. I was like, this is the best person's name I've heard.
Well, that's a movie I want to see.
Yeah.
I got to know who Clive Manderley is.
Yeah, who is this Clive Manderley?
And why is he being sent to Alcatraz?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do?
It's a voyage.
Yeah.
Is he on
Which means that I'm assuming that we're not just going to get to Alcatraz right away.
Yeah. There's stuff that's going to happen along
the way.
Along this thing. So I liked it because Alcatraz is, in fact, in the West. Why would you want to go there? Westward, no. It's good. You win yourself a free Fandango movie ticket. Unlike all the other listeners who couldn't bother to take 10 seconds out of their life to win a free movie.
Nope.
We were giving the gift of 2 hours of entertainment.
Yep.
In exchange for 10 seconds of using half of your brain.
Right. So I hope you feel bad.
I hope you feel dumb and
you should.
Sad.
Because you are.
And then what I hope you do is tell your friend to listen to the podcast.
I hope we guilt you into listening more.
Yeah, I guilt you into listening to every episode and getting all your friends to listen so that you guys can have weekly meetings where you discuss the podcast.
As my mom likes to say to me, I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed.
Just a little disappointed.
Which is really passive aggressive.
It's super. Makes you just be like, oh, God.
I know.
Oh, God, what do I need to do?
The reason we feel this way is because we love you and we want you to hear.
Just tell your friends and keep listening. And then next time there's a contest,
take a second.
Dang it.
and
you
enter.
could win something. Melody's won twice.
Yeah. Like, she's getting stuff.
And it's not as though she's not giving you a chance. She swoops in like right as the Oscars are about to air and puts her answer on.
Right.
She's like, I'm going to wait because I already won one. I'll give everyone else a chance to win.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't take it.
And I just want to say thank you to Michael.
Yeah. Thank you to our other entrant, Michael, for also a entertaining
I apologize that you didn't win. I hope after hearing the winning submission,
you understand. Yeah.
But
anyways, that's the end of the podcast. It got a little derailed there at the end because we forgot about the contest. Anyways, facebook.com/FITB Podcast.
Yep.
Fillinthe-blank-films.com. That's really it. Forget Twitter. Go on iTunes.
Yeah.
Review us. Like it on Facebook. Tell your friends. All the above. And then next time we'll be back with a new show because we don't bother to tell you what's coming up next week anymore.
You have to wait and be surprised.
You got to be surprised. Yep. All right. We'll see you next time.